Hey, howdy. Alright, we're gonna see how this goes. I kinda wanna do some Typer Shark today. And in particular, I kinda wanna do some Abyss. Because Abyss is fun, I like the endless mode. And give me just a second to, like, minimize stuff, and we're good. I need to get back into the groove. Because I found another game at some point that was, I think it's Glyphica? I believe I was like looking on reviews for this game, and I saw people mention like, oh, there's another typing game that's better than this. And I think I might like this one better. Because it is it's a roguelike, kind of. It's a, best comparison I can think of is like Snake RX. Which is cool, but it is a little clunky, and I kind of prefer the more direct typing ability thing. Ooh, jeez. Hey, I got all of them. That's awesome. It's weird, I have it in, like, windowed mode and perched near the bottom of my screen, so on paper, it should be fairly efficient because I don't have to look up too far. I would love a version of this that doesn't have the piranhas. Because that is something that I sort of liked about Glyphica. Even though it wasn't perfect, it did the difficulty quite well. Like I like the way that it did bosses. Because it's a difficult question of how you would even make a typing boss satisfying. And I don't like all of them, I like some of them. The Archivist is very cool, because there's the final boss in each run just requires you to type a long passage of, I think it's Shakespeare? I know the to be or not to be quote from Hamlet is in there. It's like Shakespeare, and I know for a fact that's one of the samples, but I think there's a couple that you can get. I wonder if there's like a Bible verse in there or something. Oop. You can kind of... I did that by accident. I wonder... You could probably cheese it a little bit by pause buffering. I'm not gonna do that because that's cheap. And also they kind of account for it. Wow, I'm getting lucky here. There we go. Now we get to the real game. Something that I think could make the... Maybe I could make like a Love 2D demo that takes advantage of this or something, but I like the idea of the piranhas being like a piranha swarm of one word. So you have to like... It's not just random characters, you would have like a word to type out, and if you can quickly suss out what that word is, then you could like take advantage of your muscle memory and make it a little bit faster. But even if you don't, you could just type out the letters randomly. I feel like that could be very interesting. I don't know, it's... I've wanted to make a typing game for a bit now. I feel like that could be a lot of fun. And like, finding a way to make a typing game satisfying is an interesting challenge. Especially since, to my understanding, this is the type of genre that has a lot of, like, presumptions for how it's supposed to work, if that makes sense. Gonna wait a second until the loud sound goes away. This always struck me as the kind of genre that people get really uppity about how... Like, people get uppity about how it's difficult. And I'm not just saying that because of, me reading reviews of another typing game, but, like, I noticed that with, I think when I was reading reviews of... Is it Blood Typer? I swear I saw something similar in there as well, like, people being kinda gatekeepy about how certain aspects of these types of games, like, aren't difficult in the right way, air quotes. I might just be misremembering that. Man, sucks indeed. Men. I kind of need a better keyboard in general. Damn it! Ah! I should just use the zapper. Let's give it another shot. Oh, and it puts me back here. Okay. Actually, didn't know it did that. I thought I was gonna have to redo everything. Forgot Eve was a real word. Man, the game's got it out for me. The word Eves always makes me think of back when I was in chorus, back in middle school. The chorus is funny because, I mean, obviously you don't get to pick the pieces that you sing. That's up to the conductor, so you end up with a lot of pieces of like moderately dubious quality. There are some really good ones in there somewhere. Some of my absolute favorite pieces I still do think about them sometimes. Not entirely sure if they would make good, like, radio songs, but they are really, genuinely very good songs, and are very beautiful. Like, I think about, the Dan Forrest song, A Bronze Triptych, is, like, I think my all-time favorite, and it's really good, and it, like, Google it, genuinely. Go listen to that song, it's gorgeous. I'm trying to think. Is this a... No, Squid is the one that... Okay. Squid is the one that has the single characters. Hell yeah. But A Bronze Triptych is really good. Most of the stuff by Eric Whitacre is fantastic. All of his like virtual choir stuff is extremely beautiful, and I love Luxurumque. I never know how to pronounce Latin. Latin is a weird thing, because it's easy to forget that Latin does not exist anymore. But if you ever sing songs as part of a choir, you will remember that Latin does not exist anymore, because every single conductor has different ways that they pronounce Latin. And it would be hilarious if you didn't have to sing it. So constantly having to get stopped by your director because the way that they pronounce stuff is different from the way that you pronounce stuff can be a little irritating. But that's like, the onus is not on the specific composer or the specific director. The onus is more on the fact that there's not really a standard for Latin pronunciation, which I suppose makes sense because, like, who would use it besides specifically chorus directors? It would just be the kind of thing of where every once in a while there would be some schadenfreude because whatever, like, society that arranges that stuff would reach out to a film director and be like, hey, you're pronouncing the word wrong. And then that person would turn around to, like, a reporter and be like, are you seeing this? Oop. Keep wanting to press space, it's enter. That's also something that I would want to change, is I wonder how it would feel to have a button to, like, release focus on a specific target. Because what was happening there is I was getting stuck on the L and I didn't realize it. So I was trying to type something else. I wonder if it would be possible to include, like, you press, like, backspace or something, and it releases the focus so you can target something else. And you'd have to retype those words when you eventually come back to that initial target, but I feel like that could be interesting. Glom and hams. It's the Simpsons special. Oh, this is bad. E. Greg. I pressed the wrong button again. Cool. Okay, hang on. But how am I doing for time? It's only been like 17 minutes. Okay, I could definitely do more attempts of this. But when I was thinking of Eves, the song that I was thinking of was, there was a song I ended up singing in middle school that was like, the line was "Ferns grow in the eaves," and it alternated between English and Japanese, but it was the kind, like, even in middle school I kind of parsed that the person who was writing this did not know how to pronounce Japanese properly. Oh shit. Peaceul. Nah. Those radiation sharks are brutal, man. Let me try just another shot from the beginning and see how that goes. So, if I remember the line correctly, it was "Ferns grow in the eaves, Shinobuni Monimo?" Dude, I don't know. You sing a lot of things, and you think of a lot of things in chorus that you would never think of outside of it, like, there are very specific things now give me flashbacks that, like, no one else in any other profession would, like, really think about it. Like, Gloria. That is something that you would get so sick of if you ever did chorus, is Gloria. And any iterations of that, because that's like a classic... That's a classic, like, prayer song, and there are 500 billion variations on Gloria. And it's obnoxious, because every single time that there is a piece in Latin... I think I mentioned it earlier, that Latin doesn't really have a standard. Well, it kind of does. Kinda, sorta, because... Ah. It kind of does because Anglican Latin exists. There is, like... Latin is still used sometimes in, like, Catholic Mass, so every once in a while there will be a song that was or is used in, like, congregation. On paper, that's pretty good, because it means that there's modern examples, but it muddies things quite a lot. And also, you hear a lot of the exact same lines, the exact same verses over and over and over again. Because I'm not going to go so far as to say Catholics are unoriginal. I'm going to say that the people who are writing these songs are unoriginal. They just use the same 3 or 4 things over and over again. So you get a lot of, let me see if I remember the exact line. Domine adagio vada me festina. It's a classic. Anything like Kyrie eleison, Gloria, you hear that a lot. You hear a lot of, I guess it makes sense. You would hear a lot of Jesu Christe, Jesus Christ, which, fair enough. Wait. And I will admit, I'm holding back a little bit because I don't want to mash keys, because it's going to be really unpleasant from the recording end. So I'm going slightly slower and quieter than I usually would. That sounds like John's, but I feel like it would be super unpleasant if I was taking, like, super long breaks in talking and also was just typing like that the entire time. I feel like that would get old fast. But yeah, Chorus, like, one of my dream games that I would want to make at some point is I want to make a game that emulates the, like, unique social situations and the unique vibe of Chorus, because it's just not represented very often. Like, I mean, think about it. When's the last time you thought about specifically choral music? It comes up. Every once in a while it does come up, but it is extremely rare. The only time that I can think of that it ever, like, made a huge splash in, like, the world of movies or TV is fucking Glee, and I don't like Glee for obvious reasons. I don't like Glee for the same reason that I don't like Pentatonix. Not to say that Pentatonix are not talented, they're very talented, but there was a time where anytime people were looking for choral music, they would default to using stuff from Glee. In the same way that nowadays, whenever people are looking for choral music for performances, especially for Christmas concerts, they will always use Pentatonix, and it will always, by the end of it all, the choir will hate Pentatonix because they'll have sung so much of it. I mean, hey, to be frank, I predict that, like, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the future, there's going to be a lot of people watching this video who don't know who Pentatonix even are. Because I feel like they're mostly, like, they do not have the cultural flash that they used to. They're still around, I'm sure. But it's very much the kind of thing you had to be there. And they put on good performances. Like, they're in isolation, their music is pretty good. And it's rare to have an a cappella group that has, like, super rich cultural impact like Pentatonix did. It's just a shame, then, that I kind of got sick of them. Because I still respect them. I respect them a lot. But Pentatonics is also like the rare moment where people actually care about chorus and musical performance that isn't band and orchestra. And even orchestra like kind of gets shelved because usually when people are talking about choral like orchestral performance, they're either talking about like classical music or they're talking about like personal like practice and performance. So like, you're like your Deltarunes, your Amoris, just like the main thing that I see around related to musical performance is the annoyance and like stress associated with being pressed to practice something. And how it is like, it's simultaneously a great way to vent frustration, but also it can become a sense of great frustration. And especially in Amori, like that shines through. The crux of a lot of that game's plot is because it was Sunny getting frustrated about getting constantly pressured to get better at playing the piano, to be like Mary. Or, excuse me, get better at playing the violin to be like Mary, who was playing the piano. And I suspect that there is a very similar, a little bit less self-destructive, but there's a very similar bond between Des and Chris Deltarune. JDG. I guess we don't know that for sure yet. Talking about Deltarune is very funny, though, because every once in a while I get the urge to say something to make a general, like a broad claim, not necessarily because I wholeheartedly think it's going to happen, but because if it does happen, I'm gonna look like a genius. But also it's fun to theorize about, because, you know, it's a Twin Peaks-style murder mystery. Who killed Des Holliday? Who killed Laura Palmer? It's surprising how little really needs to be done to make a super, super captivating mystery. But at the same time, if you can really focus that energy and keep people guessing and do like all the like Agatha Christie hallmarks, you can make some extremely compelling storytelling. And that's what Toby Fox is doing with relative ease. I'm very excited to see how Deltarune progresses. But again, it probably won't be a while before we even get any information on that, because at minimum Chapter 6 has to happen, and then Chapter 7, and then whatever the hell is going on with Chapter 6B sub, or Chapter 7, excuse me. Chapter 7, Side B. This is probably going to be my last run regardless, because it is hot over here. This isn't even a, because the summer is still happening, and it's still, like, freakishly warm this summer. it's also because there's not a lot of ventilation over here, and I'm kind of sandwiched against a wall by my computer, which is whirring away, so I'm getting a lot of hot air from that. It's not, like, untenable, but it's a little unpleasant. Oh god, hit me with the Latin. Musca. Fornax, thank you. After a certain point, you just cannot look. You have to pick one. You either have to look at the keys or you have to look at the screen, and you can't do both. So you just have to, like, read multiple words at once and hope for the best, or get really good at touch typing. I've been going for the speed reading angle, and it seems to be working pretty well, but it will catch up with me eventually. There we go. Nope. Not even gonna bother with that. I wonder what the record is for this game. Surely it's around the internet somewhere. Thank you. Oh god, it's Squid Boss. If I can make it past this, I'll be happy, but this is a very tough boss. Ew. Hell yeah. No thanks. No! Okay. I did well. Dang. What even is my record for this? Okay, yeah. It's my record on this. I swear I've gone deeper. But it was on the Windows version, which is bugged when it comes to scores, so. A, this is not the computer I was doing it on. B, it wouldn't show even if I did do it on this computer. But yeah, that's all I got for now. But thanks so much for watching, y'all.